Hey! What's good? You hear me?
Yes, yes, sir. What's going on?
Good, good, good. How many lives do you do a day, man?
How many lives a day? It all depends. It all
I just saw
depends.
some qigong.
Yeah, we just got done doing qigong earlier. Yeah,
Nice, man. How was it?
it was nice. It was nice. Every day, every day new people, every day different, folks. But yeah, same family, same time, same channel. You know.
It's nice, man. The people join you. I was thinking of doing that thing too, and I first gotta get a little bit more perfecting the moves or
Perfecting the moves.
perfecting the moves. Nah, I'm just playing, man.
I'm like,
No,
what is perfection when it comes to, yeah, it's
yeah. I don't know. Depends which ones you do. I don't know. Like the ones that I'm. Yeah, we're learning by doing, of course. But the ones that I'm doing, like the 8 brocades, I think it's called like this. Like
yeah, that is
shit.
it's like Badwan Jin.
But on chin, exactly that one, that one.
Yeah.
And how long you been doing this, man? The qigong, and how often you do it?
Well, we do it every day, every single day. It just depends, but we do it every morning here, in the rising. It's different times in different time zones, but I know that for you, it would have been 2 hours ago, so that would have been your maybe, hold on, it's six for you now, right? It's six
Yeah,
o'clock. Okay, so 4 o'clock your time every day.
yeah. It was a few hours ago. I saw that it was there hidden.
Yeah. So
That's
every day at 4 o'clock, 4 o'clock Spain time zone, Canary Island time zone.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, next time I try to join, I just had like some clients. But it's nice. This I was checking you around your arms, like
Yeah, yeah, Chris. We'd love to have you, brother. Because I mean, how long have you been doing qigong? I know you said you're on the eight brocade style right now, but when did you first get introduced in?
hmm. To be honest, I'm doing it the least right now. I really would like to start to do it more often. And I'm like, each day I try to motivate myself, like, okay, today Qigong, but somehow my body is asking me for the practices that I'm doing right now.
Mhm.
And right now, my time goes mostly on gym, 2 times gym. I just really want to I'm studying. I changed my training. I'm working more on explosive movements.
Mhm.
You know, and I do qigong basically while I work out. Because I'm. That's why maybe I'm not so feeling like I'm missing the qigong. Because I'm holding my breath while I'm doing certain exercises. So basically, I do hypoxia. I think they
Mhm.
call it termin. You know what I mean? The terminal word. No, terminal. There's another word, man.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah, yeah.
Is the yeah, like pranayama, breath holds, man. Breath holds
Right,
while you create more need in the body.
right.
If you are holding your breath while you're lifting weights,
Mhm.
careful if anyone listening and wants to lift too heavy and holding your breath. I mean, always like in a safe movement. You know what I mean? That that not some weight that's gonna fall on you if you pass out or something.
Yeah, I've passed out several times working with the breath, working with breath. I've passed out, playing this thing, working with this. You know what I'm saying? I've
Bro,
I've ended up
the
when I
same.
started when I started playing the flute, this made me respect the breath most of all. Most of all.
I feel
Yeah.
you. I bought I bought me like a little Irish tin flute,
Mm-hmm.
because I actually got me like some Indian one, but it broke somehow. It cracked alone, and or maybe I don't know. I dropped it. I don't know. But lately, even with the little one, when you try to sustain a note or you do, I heard you playing. You play beautiful, man. And when you hit these vibrato things, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And you have to hold it, and you feel that you get out of breath. It's too a workout. It's too pranayama or controlling the breath, man.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So
the same thing with the that's what I was telling you with the workout. but even harder when you're using a lot of strength. If you're lifting heavy kilos in either push-ups or bench press or pull-ups, whatever you do.
Mm-hmm.
And, but I'm really focused on that and on ice baths as well. So I'm like, I bought me like a little big freezer.
Mm-hmm.
These ones that you open from the top, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I just transform it into an ice bath. Was sealed in it all inside with silicone and stuff, so the water doesn't escape, and filled it up with water, man. And I feel amazing results with this. I see it especially on the soreness. I can work out harder,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like the recovery is way faster. You know what I mean?
Right.
With that, I believe that there is some great power on temperatures. Like
Abs-
either really cold or really hot is a major form of metabolic stress.
Absolutely.
So there is what I'm focused on most just right now on the workouts, and like I show you maybe around.
Okay.
I have two like at home, like a little gym that I made myself.
Okay. Awesome. Whoa, you got a whole gym in there. That's a whole workout.
Yeah,
Dang.
like for anything is here, man. Like
Yeah,
for,
boxing, you got the heavy bag, you got the
yeah.
boxing bag, you got
And the upper room is another gym. So
okay.
I'm making a gym out of my house.
Hey, you got a whole Planet Fitness is in there, bro. You got Lifetime Fitness at your house.
When I came from Peru, man, and it was like some hard times, like after as well the all these when we've been through the Corona times and all that, and everything can get locked. And I realized deep within me that my goal right now, everything is anything you can invest on is for your health. The most valuable thing. So I just was thinking, like, man, I don't want to depend on a gym or anything. And who needs extra rooms that is going to be for, I don't need gases in my house, just fill it up with machines for to work out and the ice bath and all that. So all I've been investing lately is just on that, in things
Right.
to develop ourselves.
Yeah,
So
man. You're developing your house. I mean, this is people say this is really the only house we have, our bodies.
temple of God,
Right,
right?
right. So you're investing in your temple, investing in your vessel. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Were
So, but
you
either
were you
way,
always this conscious when it came to that, Chris? Like when it came to putting all that energy back into yourself, putting it into your body, putting it into your mind, putting it into your, just your spirituality. Like, were you always this conscious when it came to investing in yourself?
yeah and no. Conscience in general, yeah. I never felt like probably. I see that anyone who follows this path, and I'm talking to you too, I think we mostly are very similar. Like you probably never felt like you fitted in with peeps, in the school, the kids, the way of life that they taught us, you know what I mean? Like this 9 to 5 work. Why do you have to study things you don't like? Why do you have to pay for things? And you start to question a lot of things. And the same thing about magic. Me and magic is something I really love. I always had it within, since little. I always wanted to fly. I always wanted to do telekinesis, control the elements, all of these things. Way before I even start to see it, even on TV. It's like within me. I already imagined that these things was possible.
Wow.
And about investing in me, in myself, like that way, in my body and all that, was after I got sick. So
Mm.
basically, I was um, forced. My body showed me the way, and like I was telling Nabija the last time, I had 4 illnesses, and I made myself. Probably she doesn't even know how I got sick. I didn't even tell her that.
Mm.
But the way I got sick on my strongest time in life, you know, and because abusing something, and that was water. You know, I was going through a 1 year um, fruit fruit fast,
Mm.
1 meal a day, and I was doing calisthenics, I was doing pranayama, I was doing qigong, I was running, I was doing in everything, brother. and I felt like I was waking up each morning. I never felt this thing, like with electricity in my hands, like I could lift a horse, and some power was coming from within out of nowhere. It started to happen, like, and when it started to happen, it never stopped. And I was getting all of these crazy movements, like slow motion, muscle ups, or crow to handstand that I could never do, things like this, you know what I mean? And then I realized that this stuff works, the fasting and everything works. And I got too excited about it, you know. And I thought, wow, so if I cleanse more, I will achieve higher results quicker, So then is when I put my elements out of balance. I had the tremendous idea of drinking a whole lot of water at once, man. Like
Oh.
like 10 liters within 30 minutes. Crazy.
Whoa, 10 liters
10 liters, bro. Yeah.
in a half hour?
In a half an hour. Yeah. And
Jesus.
that was super stupid, man. But I had to, honestly, yeah. But I'm so glad that happened. A day before, I was praying to God. I was on my knees on a yoga mat, praying to God to show me a faster way. Because I saw all what you can accomplish with less. You know, and I started to experience this rebirth. This power that I never ever had before. So then I, I think God showed me that I should get sick, because the next day, I just had the idea that I never had in my life. What if I drink a whole lot of water? So my diagnosis from my own self is that I blew up my kidneys, probably with a lot of dry residue that blocked them, and that gave me kidney failure. And from that, I got anemia, because producing new blood, and from that, diabetes, and from that, stomach ulcers. So I was like for 3 years long, man. 3 years long, like really, really skinny, like 48 kilos. And I'm pretty tall too, so I was looking scary. And then, to come to the point, and then is when I started to care a lot. I had no choice, like my body was just rejecting most of things and amounts. My body was telling me how much should I eat, what should I eat, when should I drink, when should I not, So then I realized that all my body was asking, even though I was skinny, that was the scariest part, was to don't consume nothing, So it was really hard, because the family see you skinny, and then you're telling them, no, I cannot eat.
Right.
And they're forcing you, like, no, you should eat.
Right.
Look, you're skinny because you're fasting. And like, no, I got skinny because I cannot eat. And if I try to eat, I feel worse. I'm choking.
Right. Right.
So the body was just showing me that, I should not consume anything. And that's when I did this trip to Peru, to the Amazons, for 1 year.
Okay. Okay. Wow. And so you continued like that. You said 3 years like that? It was 3 years of you continuing like it sounds like you got a whole new relationship with your body, you know?
I was only descending, losing weight.
Okay.
And then when I started, I realized it was too stressful to be in Peru. Like, I was so weak that everything was bothering me. The insects, normally I can take them, no problem, mosquito bites or anything, but it's like nature itself wanted to take me out the way. You know what I mean? It's like I was attracting more flies, more mosquitoes than anyone around me, I guess. you know, and sucking the little blood I had left in me. So I
Wow.
was like, no, bro, I have to go back to Fuerteventura, is where I live,
Hmm.
and start this seriously. I isolate myself
Hmm.
in the comfort of home, right here, and with fresh air, good sunshine, the ocean. And then I started this heavy dry fast, you know. And when I started to do this dry fasting, looking so scary and so skinny, is when then I started to gain weight.
Oh.
So first I kept losing,
Hmm.
but then each time I got out of the dry fast, that was that propelling, you know. So
Okay. Yeah. What do you feel like at that time? What did that teach you? You know, what did it teach you about the body to see the descension and then to see the ascension? Like to see you go down and then to go back up with nothing, you know, when you were going into dry fasting. What did that teach you about our bodies?
a lot of things, man. I think maybe you can relate with this. I'm still learning, you know. I'm still listening. Yeah, you know how many people I met crazy, like probably or ex relations or something. Like, you know, this is the way I found out is this, you know. And then I'm saying something different in the next year.
Hmm.
So I see that the body, you know, what taught me is that it's different cycles and different timing for
Hmm.
everything. Like there is not one way, you know. People just think, no, it's the fruit, it's the veggies, no, it's cooked food, no, it's this, no, it's that. You know, when it comes to food and all that, I believe that everything has its taking meat out the way. There's no discussion. And, you know, I'm always gonna talk plant-based. You know, meat, we have to understand the universal laws. That is first thing. In my eyes, that was always the forbidden fruit. There is no apple,
Wow.
the meat, you know. And if you look into ancient texts, that's what they all say. So it makes sense that they want to make it so famous and for us to consume it in such amounts, you know, selling us the illusion that we're going to be greater and bigger and stronger. So, um, but when it comes to plant-based, you know, food itself, like, there's not, you know, it's not a way. Like you really have to listen. What some raw foods might harm someone, and some cooked foods might harm others. You know, I believe that it's the energy that needs to match your vibration. You know, like raw. If you're too low, too sick, I believe in my case was the raw was harming me. It was vibrating too high,
Mm.
and probably that stuff like fruits needs to get out quickly. You know, or they ferment, and
Okay.
my body moves slow as my body was sick.
Okay.
So elimination does not match the frequency of that fruit, you know. So it will give me gases and it will bloat me. So only then cooked foods was helping me. But of course, you do the transition as you get more energetic. Now you can consume more energetic foods, which will be highly biophotonic food like veggies and fruits.
Right.
You know? So,
Right.
and same, you know, then the same with fruit juices and fruit juices, juice
Mm.
fast and then water fast. Each time, I think there's like a stir. You know what I mean? To
Okay. Okay.
that
No,
is
that
the main.
makes sense. That makes sense. So when you're talking about becoming more energetic, when did you get into, you know, cultivating energy? Like when did that become a factor that you added on to your regimen or your routine?
Same thing. Same thing. Once I started, I think it's something like when I hear
Hmm.
stories, like whether Eliton Melanim or Victor Trubiano or
Hmm.
anyone, it's like, well, maybe I relate more to Eliton, that he too was sick, I believe.
Hmm.
And then he realized that what he did was working, was healing, and it doesn't stop
Right.
there. Not that there is something else to achieve.
Right.
And then knowing that it is a fact that we have 98% junk DNA, you know, that's what they say. And that answered a lot of things to me of why we have no powers right now, you know.
Mm.
So then I started to think, wow, so there's a lot of aligning to do inside, and you know, it's gonna take a while. So let's get serious with it and let's put our intention there. And I want to see in this lifetime, like I told Nabiha, like what we can do with this amazing body that I believe that we possess.
Yeah.
I think we are like eagles, like living the life of a penguin, man,
Wow.
more or less,
Wow. That analogy, just like we don't know we're eagles and we're like waddling around like penguins, and we can
exactly.
actually fly, like we can soar in the sky and we have no idea why,
And that's the way I see it, man. The way I see it.
Wow, man. I have not heard that analogy before, but it makes it so plain. It puts it in such a perspective when you're saying, like, we just don't know that we can actually spread our wings much farther than we realize.
Mhm.
Because, when it comes to the influences, people like Elitam, people like Nabiha, or even who was the German man that you met in Costa Rica that was doing a 5 months, he was 5 months
Mm,
dry, you said? He had
I
gone
don't.
5 months without food and water. Can you talk about how you met him?
Yeah, I do not know his name. I have no contact with him. This man just appeared out of. I was in a hostel,
Mhm.
and he appeared out of nowhere, asking me for a lighter, because he was not. He was not consuming anything, but he was smoking weed. You know, so he came and asked me for a lighter, maybe because my look or something.
Okay.
And I told him, no, brother, I do not smoke. And it's like, oh, really? And then he just sat next to me. It's like, do you mind if I sit here? And we started to talk. And then, the typical, you start to ask, what you doing here, this, that. And he said to me, well, I don't know, maybe it sounds a little bit crazy to you. Do you want to hear it? And I'm like, sure. Try me. Like, I like crazy. And he's like, well, I'm trying to live off the air. He told me with those words, I'm trying to live on the air, off the air. And I was like, oh, and I already had heard about breatharians and all that, so I was like, you mean like this breatharian type of thing? And it's like, yeah, exactly, So that's how I started,
Okay.
Then he was the first person that I ever met, that did the first breatharian and that had such a long journey, So I was really interested because I already saved like many videos in my YouTube on some playlists, and YouTube always seemed to delete those videos, or block them or something. And then that caught my attention, Obviously, if they're deleting something, they're probably hiding something, They don't want us to know that something.
Mm.
So um, I was very curious, but
Mhm.
I had this tema like left on a side, and he just appeared out of nowhere. So I just like absorbed all of the knowledge I could, man. I was asking him, how do you feel? How do you start it? How do you got into it? And he said his best mate, a German man as well, he's been 4 years on a dry fast, and he taught him. So then I was like, 4 years, man. And that's pretty much it. Then I didn't understand it at the time, as much as I was interested, but I was like, I don't know, man, not eating for so long, I think we all tend to think when we hear this that we must be so long without eating or drinking,
Mm.
without realizing that it's just a workout, you know what I mean?
Mm.
So,
A
so
workout, you said?
yeah, the way I see it is, workout puts for sure less pressure, you know if you think there is a workout and you can just, to gain some adaptation, that strength, to then choose to eat when you want to and don't depend on it. You know
Mm.
what I mean?
Right.
Instead of thinking that, okay, so if I make that choice, means right now that I'm gonna have to say bye bye to food forever. That's what I felt, that how my mind wanted to think about it, you
Okay.
know? And I realized that thinking that way put too much pressure in me,
Right.
because it's all or nothing, you know what I mean?
Right.
And
Right.
so I had this battle within,
Mm.
until I realized, who am I battling with? What is this battle about? And there is no pressure, there is no black or white. You know what I mean? if I want to eat, let's say, I'm sure Eliton can go eat whenever he wants to. You know what I mean? But he's choosing to stay where he is now that he has no fear. Now that he walked a long way, you know.
Right.
So the same thing happened too when then I started with this long fast, and then when I did the 11-day dry fast,
Mm-hmm.
then I was like, man, then it's so easy. There is no, I didn't have even that hunger for getting there anymore. I just was like, I just gonna, you know, do it slowly and let, because when you get highly energetic, you're neither that hungry, you know what I mean? So
Right.
like it happens naturally either way.
Right. Right.
So I'm more in the mindset right now. It's working.
Okay.
What
It's just
what? Sorry. No, I was gonna say, what about you
yeah.
though?
Like I'm listening to you and it's fascinating because I'm drawing so many parallels to the journey with like people that you started to meet out of nowhere. I started to manifest people. I started to have divine encounters as well with other people who were on these journeys. And before I was 28, I never heard of the word liquidarian, fruitarian, breatharian. Like pranic living was never on my radar before 28 years of age. So it was in that year when I started to learn about these things, and that was 2019. So when you were
Oh,
talking about like a muscle that you're exercising, or spiritual muscles, mental muscles, and even the adaptation that you drew, that correlation between the sensation of you're getting stronger, but your dependency on food is going down while your strength is going up, So it's interesting how these things happen, because when you were talking, with the guy in Costa Rica, who, you don't remember his name, but he was there for a reason. You met him for a reason. What was your impression of him? Like, what was your overall kind of feeling around his energy? Did you feel like he somehow wasn't like other people?
yeah, man. Like to me, he seemed very special. Like I'm really curious about everything actually. Like especially things that are not usual. Or that people is not really looking into.
Mm-hmm.
So I like the rare things.
Yeah.
Always did. So I was attracted to that, and I felt he had an amazing. I appreciated a lot. What could be even intimidating a little bit. The way
In
that,
what way?
the way that he used his words. When someone is very much in control of his
Mm-hmm.
thoughts, you know, that he's done the work, and you feel absolute calmness next to this person.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, heavy ocean, you know, like you know what I mean, right? Like whatever this says is like no mistakes with the words, very perfectly speaking, kind of like this guy, this Nun Amen Ra,
Mm-hmm.
as well. It's like they sound ancient in a way, you know what I mean, and that to me was really fascinating. That is what I felt, that he had a great energy,
Okay.
and physically as well, he was kind of tall, slender, slim, but really toned as well. He had some muscle mass going on.
Okay.
So yeah,
Wow. So
so that
what did he ever give you a reason for why he was wanting to live off the air? Why he was doing that for so long? Did he ever kind of give you his reason for why he was doing that?
no, man, I didn't ask him that, or maybe if I did, I don't remember. It's not something my brain kept. you know
And
to me, it was just like the major things, like I know like who motivated him,
yeah.
his and then how long he's been doing it,
Hmm.
and yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy was really. We talked as well overall everything, not just like a lot on that, and just sharing thoughts and things. Having wasn't the main topic, the Breatharianism thing,
Right.
but he of course is into diving into deep knowledge, every day, just seeing him with his books and his bicycle. I was staying there a while, 3 months there in Costa Rica, and I was seeing him as long as I was in that place with a huge smile, driving everywhere, super chilled,
Yeah.
reading his books alone most of the time.
Yeah.
He was a
Yeah.
very, very interesting character, definitely.
Yeah. It sounds like he spent a lot of time in solitude, maybe some time in isolation with that vibration. His books and his bicycle, pura vida, the Costa Rica way, I love that. I
Really
love
cool.
that. So where were you, Chris, when you did your 11 day, when you went 11 days without food and water? Like where were you when you started that?
Here, that was when I came from Peru.
Okay.
So here in my home, and yeah,
So you did it alone. You did it by yourself with no one else around you. Wow. Wow.
my ex-girlfriend at the time was doing it with me.
Okay.
So we did it together. She achieved, I think she went pretty far too. She went 7 days. So yeah, and then I was like, don't worry, I'll keep going. I have to see this, feel this, and get there.
Yeah.
So it's something I felt I had to, because the last time, each time you do it, you don't wanna, you feel kind of crappy in a way, like quitting right at the
Mhm.
same point where you left it. You know what I mean? So you just want to push it that extra mile, at least if it is like 2 minutes longer.
Yeah.
But
Just
you
a
can
little bit. Just.
7 days in 2 minutes. Yes, let's go for 7 days and five
Yeah.
minutes in it.
Yeah, it's like Vegeta and Goku. Vegeta would always be looking at Goku ascending, going Super Saiyan and then Super Saiyan 2 and now he's Super Saiyan 3 and Vegeta's like, like Kakarot, I
It's,
can do it,
it's how
He
you're bringing
believes.
up the Dragon Ball topic slowly, right? That was smooth.
Yeah.
That was really smooth.
No, but like their power levels, they could see that they were always pushing each
Right
other.
here.
Uh-oh. Oh, there they go. There they go right
They're,
there.
they're everywhere, man. I look like a teenager, but there's powerful insights there, man, in those cartoons.
Hmm.
Definitely, you're right.
Super.
Like, and something I didn't even start to realize until I went through all this.
Hmm.
When you're a kid, you don't think of this, right? You just like, "Ah!" and without thinking, and you trying probably the Kamehameha and all of these things. Have you tried the Kamehameha?
Kamehameha. I remember I'll be powered up like It's
Bro, I think everyone who I asked, like, bro, I tried it.
we all did.
Guilty.
We all did.
Guilty.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, one day we'll get it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, but then I was like, it's like this stuff. Look, I'm gonna show you something, all right?
Okay.
This is my
Hmm.
vaccination
Hmm.
ID.
Hmm.
I don't have any vaccinations,
Hmm.
obviously, you know. But I had to get this faked,
Hmm.
in Peru, so that I could go to the markets to buy food. You
Okay.
know what I mean?
Hmm.
And in the other side, I, I made this reminder.
Ah,
All right,
nice.
can you read it,
Nice. It says, power comes in response to a need, not a desire. You have to create that need. I love that. Wow.
bro? That thing was like following me all the way. Literally metabolic stress talking, and that part is said. Is in one of the episodes. He's telling this to Song Gohan when he was a child,
Mm-hmm.
and he wanted to. Song Gohan wanted to be stronger. Please, Yoshani, thank you, Nabia. She's amazing. She wanted to be stronger. He wanted to be stronger, and he said, "Don't cry. Power does not come in response to a desire; it
Mm-hmm.
comes in response to a need. So putting our body in need is our work, is our job. So creating that need, that fasting, that is that workout, that is that pranayama, that is that ice bath, that is that you're asking your body, you need to survive. You know, you need more. You're cold, you need more temperature. You know, you're weak because you need more muscle to lift something. You need more muscle. So whatever you're gonna do, I believe that is just gonna raise those red blood cells to absorb more prana,
Yeah.
and there's where I believe true power comes from the finer matter. So,
Okay. Okay.
or
So
at least how I like to say it, it's like the buffet that never ends. You know what I mean?
the endless buffet. Yes, the endless buffet.
The endless buffet.
I
You
love
use it,
that. I love that, man.
but
So,
food
huh?
comes and goes, man. Food comes and goes, but the air is always there. So that it's like, if they take that off, like if we lose food, I believe we'll lose this body that we are sustaining on that food energy. You know what I mean? And that extra push. But if we get used to, that's the way I see it, to sustain our bodies from this, from the
Mm,
air, then we're never missing anything. It's always there. So
right.
whatever that we build upon those grounds, I believe we will stay in those grounds. You know what I mean? It
Hmm.
won't crumble when we don't have it. So
Yeah. Wow. That even, that's very poetic, Chris, because like you said, it's almost like eating is fleeting, like eating and feeding, it can feel fleeting. Food comes and goes, but you said the air is always there. The,
you, you are the poet,
the
brother.
air is always there. That's what you said. You said
Yes, yes, yes.
the air is always there.
But
So
when you say it sounds better.
So, when it comes to feeling like that power, feeling yourself nourished, feeling yourself flourishing, blossoming, and blooming on nothing, when you did that 11 days and you said your partner at the time or your girlfriend
Mhm.
at the time, she did 7 days with you while you were doing 11 days.
Yeah,
What
she did
what do you
amazing.
say? Say again?
Sorry, she did amazing. Like she never did any preparation before or anything, but she was as well someone who didn't. She is someone, she is someone who didn't eat much anyway. So I think her day-to-day life was already pretty fasted. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So it was not really hard for her to. She lost pretty much weight too, and
Mhm.
looked pretty skinny as well. But she managed finally.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know you're no longer together now, but what would you say was the glue that kept you together during that time? What brought you together?
I believe that this very same thing that we are talking about now, um, healing. You know, we met each other when I was not at my best,
Hmm.
and she had her things as well, and we found support in each other at this time. And since day one, I think like in our first date that we had, we was at the beach in the night and we was talking about all this stuff, like elevation, this type of ways, this path. And she resonated with all of it. And I was like, cool. Like someone, it's really important to have someone by your side, that at least it's going to be hard to be with someone who just goes through other way. You're not walking the same way. So
Right.
I was already as well. I felt like to spend some time with someone, who would understand this
Mhm.
and heal together. So that's what happened.
Yeah. Like when you're healing together, feeling together, revealing together, and appealing together with these practices, when someone finds you at your low point, like you weren't at a high point, but you came together and you're supporting each other. Would you say that that's like a soulmate, or what would you call that kind of relationship when kindred spirits
Ooh.
find each other at a very low point in life?
To be honest, I'm still opening to these um, revelations and still learning about what is what, what is twin flames, what is soulmates, what is all of this when it comes to relations. Um, because yes, maybe it could be there's something that is some, past life mate, or the one, as you wanna say it, or as most of people talk about it. But I too believe that we make what we want of ourselves and what we want of the other, So yeah, definitely. When it feels really intense, you tend to put it like to the highest, and this must be my soulmate. This might be my whatever, twin flame or whatever. But then you see that at the same time can be very damaging in other things. Like this relation wasn't all flowers. You know what I mean?
Mm.
In fact, it was my most painful relation and one of the shortest ones actually too.
Whoa.
So, but at the same time, one that was very intense. So in the good way. So there's a lot to be said, but it's a deep, some deep waters,
But
man. But
it was definitely, it sounds like there was both worlds, it wasn't just one or the other, it was both. It sounds like it was very intense, but also very, you know, like the scales were tipped, it sounds many times. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So when you're in a relationship like that, because do you feel like going through when you were breaking through that point, where many people will never even venture. I mean, many people they will go their whole lifetime never going past, that point that you went past with your partner. Do you feel like you would have been able to do that had she not been there, or did she somehow give you more strength to do what you had to do?
that's a good question. I never really questioned it myself, but I feel pretty confident, man, with this. Like I am anyone who knows me, you know, that's one of the things that they appreciate in me the most is that I'm really devoted to what I do, and I will never stop. You know what I mean? So whatever I'm on, I'm on. You know what I mean? So no doubt, I'll do it, man. I'll do it definitely. But of course, it's more comfortable, to to do it with someone that it's kind of like a game, something like this. You join in together, yeah. You can imagine what I mean. It's more fun. It's more
Yeah,
fun. At least it's more fun, yeah.
yeah.
Al- Alone, you distract yourself more. We was playing a lot of video games, man. Like, when you start to reach this point, you're just like, all right, all right. Like now I'm getting to the point that I'm not that, because I still was working out and everything. You know what I mean? So okay, it was like a stair, you know what I mean? Like, okay, now I gotta go from these kilos to these kilos. Oh crap! Okay, today I just body weight. I cannot handle more. And then the next time was not even body weight. I was like, okay, so just run. And then next time it's like, okay, now I'm just gonna walk. And then it's like, okay, now the days are getting really, really long, man. And walking and slow jogging is like, that's it.
Hmm.
But the day seems like it lasts forever. So just playing video games, and watching movies and reading books,
Yeah.
things like this.
Just to
But
occupy the mind.
yeah,
Okay.
but that's what I did at the time, though.
Hmm.
Now I realize I haven't done a long drive since a while now. That was my last one. That was the 11th one. Was nearly about a year ago, I would say,
Hmm.
something like this. And if I did it again, I'll be more here because I realized in this time, you know, all my energy, I can manifest more, I can heal more, I can do anything more. So, I'm not adjusting anything. So I would concentrate 100% much more whatever I want to create in me in this time.
Yeah.
But sometimes that is kind of exhausting as well in a way. I tried it in these times too, but it felt like it was making me a little bit tired. to be, because some demons coming out too, some pains, especially when I was doing it. I was not feeling so healthy. I had some problems breathing, and some really bad stomach pressure in my solar plex. So that it's like a constant ball there, twisted. You know what I mean?
Okay. Like just a lot of constriction. Yeah.
That is what
Okay.
stomach ulcers, from this illness. But now it's like so much better, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Because you've overcome, I mean, you've overcome so many obstacles, so many things that, I mean, would have laid weight to so many people. Like you said, four illnesses that you overcame. So,
in which they are not cured, you know, such a
wow. Wow. My
so
goodness.
mad, so mad that they are fooling people like that. Like, I believe if you had any other illness, I'll get over it. Like, just how I go through these ones, man. They're all the same thing, man. Different tag, same crap, same obstruction in the body, man. Low energy. That's all it is. That's all it is. Different locations, but the way you heal one, you heal the others. So energy is
Yeah.
energy is what we need, and understanding that is what we need first.
Yeah.
And how
Why do you feel, brother? Because when you say energy is what we need, like first and foremost, when you talk about energy, why do you feel like more people don't come to that understanding? Like more people don't realize this. Of course, it's not really taught in schools. I didn't come up being raised learning about energy. They didn't have energy classes, things with these methods and modalities. And I certainly didn't learn about meditation coming through my education. So where do you think this ancient knowledge is lost among people today?
I think you know that already, brother. I think you know that already, but for the people who wonders that, it's pretty obvious, right? It's pretty obvious. Why would you hide the good stuff? Why would you take the power away from someone? How else would you gain
Mm,
power? If someone wants to be on top, you know, and if everybody was on top, no one would be on top. I mean, everybody would be, but no one would be on top of others. There would be no control.
mm,
So I believe that the weakening of a race, of our species, however you want to call it, begins by the control of the information, and we through that pretty much you do everything else. Like, you can control information, and then you follow a lifestyle,
mm,
the one you execute, and the one that gives you a proof of something that is what you're experiencing, and that is your knowing. Your experience is your knowing. So how else would you know anything else that you haven't experienced, when even at that point the information that takes you to that experiencing is not even there? You
mm.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what they hiding, and that is what you see, that is all written in emerald tablets, in gold and stone, everywhere, all around the world, is this very own information that they are hiding from us: who we are, what we can
Wow.
do, you know prophecies of the future, the very same ones that we're living right now. Maybe story repeats itself over and over. I don't know. It seems like it, or at least, like, if you compare things, this knowledge, and you start to see the day we're living today
Mhm.
is pretty much these times that we're living, where, you know, we are not what they say that we were. We are what they're telling us to be right now.
Mhm.
And that is a very pathetic creature, man.
Wow.
A
So,
creature in need of everything, and consumed by fear.
mm, mhm. So when it comes to this knowledge, these things that, maybe like you say, the elites know, but they don't want you know, the other ones to know because the elites are trying to compete and don't want people to be above and they're not spreading the love, you know. When you're talking about this, the emerald tablets and different doctrines and scriptures and, you know, spiritual books and archives and ancient texts and wisdom, do you feel like someone has to be desperate or have a certain curiosity to find this knowledge? Or could they find it all if they looked within?
You mean that if someone could find to this knowledge within without searching?
Without externally finding it externally, could someone find it all internally?
Definitely. I think it's like the great Alan Watts used to say, right? Or Tesla. It's like they get their knowledge and through the Akashic records, right? They connecting to the universe, and through their meditations they learn. So
Mm,
I believe that's one way. I think too that we are wired inside, just like we know we have to suck a titty when we are babies. No one teaches that stuff, right? So we know it, but maybe that's really basic survival type of thing. But I believe that that is where the disconnecting of our helixes plays a role.
mm,
you know so let's say everything is um in all this energy that we are talking about, there is everything else. So everything runs through there. And if we talk of our helixes in our DNA, then let's say it's like the cable to our machinery. You know what I mean? So if you want to send a message across, you know then you need that connection to be done, right?
right.
Or it will not reach. So I believe it's the same thing. Maybe that's why as people advance more in their healing,
Hmm.
they start to need every time less from the outside in all matters, all ways. Two, with knowledge, two, with books. You start to feel like you start to have your own knowledge of
Uh,
things, right?
okay.
And then you have these epiphanies, these aha moments. Then you start to have these crazy dreams that is like full of you're in another planet with another beings,
Hmm.
giving you some teachings that you feel like you gotta wake up and write it all down, and
Hmm.
nothing there, but you feel like you wake up like, wow, I'm loaded with something that I don't know what it is. And then each time more and more and more, which I haven't experienced yet, but it makes sense that each time you just this knowing starts to burst, you know,
Yeah.
which is already there, definitely.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It's like the seed is already there, but it starts to sprout, you know, like it starts to make its way out. Yeah.
ex-
Okay. Okay. Beautiful. The way you described it, Chris, you know, it's beautiful depiction and description because, you know, when you're talking about like just all these things that we don't really sit down and analyze and don't really think about how these things are a lot more closer than we realize. And I just love how you talk about that connection because you said that next time you do a long fast or you do a long, Nabiha likes to call it the natural state, you know, like pranic days where you're just without anything and you just
it,
are everything, you know, connected with everything, needing nothing, attracting everything. You said you won't really disperse the energy with distraction like video games and movies and binge watching but you would harness, hone and focus the
use
energy and
it,
concentrate it in like an area of manifestation.
put it put it to a good
Right.
use. Exactly.
Right. So with that, what would be that good use for you? Like, what do you feel like at this stage in your life, you know, at this juncture of your journey that you would want to manifest for yourself? Like, what do you see
Oh man.
in your vision
I,
for yourself?
you got the good questions, bro. Like I like the questions. I like how you taking all these, man, and the questions that you ask. They are very they're they're reaching, and I think there is things that I like to hear too. If I was right now someone looking at this, so honestly, it's just like what I said before, and the same thing I told Nabiha. powers, man, the magic is all about, like, I'm super enthusiastic with magic itself, you know,
Mm,
all all that comes with it, you know, the healing, the to yourself and to others, you know, the flying, controlling the elements,
mm,
teleportation, telepathy, whatever, man. I'm just, and I believe when I'm there, you know, my vision is like in the future I'll be traveling through Earths, planets, dimensions, and keep learning, man. I love to learn, and I
yeah.
love to learn the high arts. So that is where my energy would be going to,
Okay.
is to what I feel that my body is trying to tell me I need
Mm,
next. And right now, I feel like my total focus is on embodiment. I'm trying to master embodying my thoughts, you know, with feeling. And it's
mm,
even harder, but I'm, you know, it's just like they say in the Vedas, for example, it's like, if you want to have the strength of a horse, think of a horse and how a horse feels the strength, you
mm,
know. You
mm,
want to have the speed of a snake, think how fast the snake is and feel it. They talk a lot about the feeling.
mm.
So
Yeah. So embodying your thoughts with feeling.
key.
Okay. Embodying your thought. You know, you remind me, Chris, you remind me of a scene. You remember Bruce Lee? Bruce
Of
Lee.
course, super hero, man. That was one of
Yeah.
my role models.
Legendary. Legendary. You know, so there was a scene in one of Bruce Lee's movies. I forgot which movie it was, but he was training with a young, you know, a young Padawan, a young student, and the student was sparring with Bruce Lee, and he told him, you know, to kick him, like to act like he was kicking him, and the student came at him, and he was like, no, 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 you know, like I said, like emotional content, you know, we need emotional content, right, behind your kick, you know, don't just kick, like let it be something behind it. So his student came at him again with a kick, and he said, don't think, feel.
It sounds it sounds
Yeah, like
it sounds really familiar, man. Which one was it
I,
though?
I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find the scene. Yeah,
Do it, do it. It feels. I must see it now, man. You
yeah,
just got into it now. You just got me into it. But yeah, it sounds very, very familiar. So definitely, I saw it, but for sure, it was years ago.
yeah,
So
yeah. But that's what you reminded me of when you said that. You know, you wanna, you know, with your thoughts, you're trying to feel and embody your thoughts with feeling. Yeah.
you know where I realized the truth of feeling
Hmm.
with telekinesis. You know, like I've been a while trying that stuff. You know,
Hmm.
it didn't work. I tried and tried and tried. Like I tried, man, like a lot, and it was just draining me. Each session, I was like, this tiring. It was unmotivating
Hmm.
until I read this book that says you have to. It says if you don't move it, it's because you're missing one of these points, you know. And then one of them was connecting to the item.
Hmm.
So the way that you connect with it is with feeling.
Hmm.
So that is something I didn't have in mind, you know. So this book says if you want to connect to something, you have to add your senses to your imagination. So try to imagine, you have to embody the item, you have to be the item, just like um, Bruce Lee says, for example, with the, you know, the teapot thing,
Hmm.
you know? Or like be water, my friend, you know, you become everything, you know, like the same thing, more or less.
Yeah.
Is So if you feel it, right, you imagine or like in Matrix, the
Hmm.
kid is trying to teach Neo how to move this, how to bend the spoon, and it's like in reality there is no spoon, you
Yeah.
know. It's like you are it, but
Hmm.
that's not enough, you know, to imagine. I was missing some more info, you know.
Okay.
So it's like, hey, so I'm the spoon, but still the spoon is not bending, it's not moving, or I'm not spinning what I want to spin.
Hmm.
So the book said you have to imagine the weight of it. Imagine how it sounds when you rub it. Imagine the smell. Imagine the texture. Imagine everything you can, every single little. The more info that you give to yourself of the item, the stronger link, the stronger connection. And then it's just a matter of concentration and energy, you know? So, man, once I started to have that in mind, it took me 3 days to start to move it like nicely.
And you moved
You know?
it.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh snap! So after that, like that was the only missing link. Only 3 days after that, you were moving it.
Yep. And I'm not like I know some people that I told this trick right away, and like they moving it like in the same day, in the same moment, you
Wow.
know. So when I feel someone is really energetic, whether people I know or even clients that I'm tattooing, often we bring topics like this out, and then we end up there on the table of the tattoo room, like moving papers, you know. So I like to share all this info, man, and remind people who we are.
Yeah.
And yeah, but that's what it showed me.
Mm-hmm.
The feeling is everything, you know. So if I'm affecting this paper with my thoughts this way, sure thing that will be the same way I affect my body, you know. So if I feel fear, if I feel strong, if I feel excitement, if I feel feelings is what is releasing these things inside of us, or is what creates movement, let's say, you know.
Right.
So now I'm much more conscious of this, you know, throughout the day, whatever I'm doing, and I'm checking my mind, you know,
Wow.
how am I thinking, you know, my feelings, what feelings I wanna bring in right now, you know, and still
Wow.
have my things, my ups and downs, and I try to control them throughout the day, put them in check, and but with a whole other perspective right now. So pretty much practicing on the, especially like with the feeling of strength and empowering, which is what I try to embody lately.
Mm-hmm.
I want to embody strength right now the most, you know, uh, physical strength, just to see it translated somehow, so
Mm-hmm.
that it would reinforce to my beliefs for the next things,
Right.
you know.
Right. Beautiful, brother. Beautiful. I love this, man. Like your journey, it's so inspiring because, just as you were saying that, Chris, like you said, you were trying and trying and trying. Like even as Yoda, Yoda, the Jedi Grand Master, he told Luke Skywalker, like, do or do not, right? There is no try. And you're trying to move this thing, and you're trying to move this thing. And you said you almost gave up, but then you read that book and it gave you that one little missing piece, that one little missing ingredient in the recipe, and then just once you added that ingredient, it changed the whole flavor.
Yeah. Yes, yes. It was
Yeah.
like that, and two, I learned a lot about consistency, like
Okay.
not about intensity,
Mhm.
but consistency. That was
Consistency.
crucial.
Mhm.
So the times that I was trying there like 30 minutes straight, just trying to move something, and then the book says do smaller sessions like 10 to 15 minutes, but 3 times a day,
Mhm.
morning, afternoon, night, so that you have it more active. So I
Mhm.
realized, then it worked. So I realized too, the same goes with everything.
Okay.
Adaptation is small amounts, drop by drop. And the same, that's what I'm applying right now in workout too.
Okay.
I try, before I used to go to the gym, let's say the whole morning, like 2 hours, 1 hour, I don't know, and go really crazy with it. And now I just do way less, man. But I do it faster, and I do explosiveness, and then I split it. You know what I mean? I don't burn myself like I before. I was like I gotta just destroy myself.
Mhm.
Now I'm just using the strength. It's different. Like when they say in Star Wars 2, use the Force. Exactly the same thing.
Yes.
You have to use the Force exactly. So that's what I've been doing, man. And now I'm back to the moves that I used to do before. starting again to control a lot of the muscle ups and great moves that I lost the ability to do after my fall. So starting to raise up again with that. And in the evening, I do a little bit. Just before we talked, I was pumping it too a little bit around here, like this. Just keep it active that way, but nothing in excess.
Yeah. No, I love that. You know, the consistency over intensity, you know? Like what is the intention? You know, we might gas ourselves out and burn ourselves out by trying to do 70 minutes, you know, all at once. Or we could just do 10 minutes a day, you know, and just
Yeah,
keep it consistent, you know, it's better. So yeah, like they say 10 minutes a day is better than 70 minutes a week, you know? Just like keep it consistent, keep the energy moving in rotation, and yeah, that rest and relaxation. So I love that.
and creates that repetition pattern that I love what you wrote the last time. I think it was like repetition is the mother of skill.
Mm,
Man, I totally agree with that, and I resonate a lot with it too.
yeah.
And exactly, the more that we repeat, the more that we embody, the more that we become it. You know, like be it till you. What do you say? I forgot
Be
now.
it, yeah, be it till you see it.
Be it
Yeah.
till you see it, and there is the experience. You know, then you know, and then you have that knowing, which accelerates even more that path that you're going through.
Yeah.
But definitely, bro, like repetition is
Repetition.
key. Is key. So in small amounts, not to burn yourself out and motivate, because that's I think is what happens with everyone. You know,
Mhm.
like everyone just want it now. Like I wanted it now, everything
Yeah.
now. And if you don't have it now, you look the ways to have it now.
Mm,
You know,
mm,
there's where people will start to take steroids or
right.
whatnot. You know,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, it's the microwave mentality, you know, the mentality of the microwavable results, you know, microwavable achievements, microwavable accomplishments, you know, of, you know, you want to put it in for 3 minutes and pop it out and have a whole cooked meal rather than slow cooking it and really drawing out this, you know, drawing out the seasoning, you know, we lose all of our reasoning by wanting it now. Yeah.
so crazy, bro.
Yeah.
Like it's even scary if you really take a look at it. You
Mhm.
know, like why would we rush so much? You know, it's
Mhm.
like what is the goal? What is it? And you see how everyone is so hungry to whatever they want it for. You know, whether it's the body to get more girls or a girl to get more guys or to have this status, you know what I mean, or to have better photos in Instagram. I don't know, man, for whatever reason. Or back in the days when I was like a little bit bad boy, then I was thinking like, so people would respect me and I kick some ass if I had to, you know.
Mhm.
So we all have these core reasons, and they might not be so healthy, some of them,
Mm.
and but it's what the society teaches us, you know, that those things are
Right.
valuable, that those things are respected. So we all trying to, you know, get our portion and be looked at, you know, like someone successful in whatever that success is defined in these days. So until we start to realize that there are way greater things than nobody or most of no one is really looking.
Mhm.
Um,
And you said you've even seen it on tattoos, like as a tattoo artist, you know, like you've even seen it with people that will get that kind of, you know, that fixation on who they want to be or how they want people to respond to them or react to them with tattoos.
but in which way?
You're
What?
saying like you've seen it when somebody is trying to get more of something by by putting tattoos on themselves, like they're like that's their intention with the tattoo.
Same,
Okay,
same. and I always I lost a lot of clients because that, you know,
really?
like yeah. Back in the days, I was just giving tattoos to anyone, but sometimes when you speak truth to people, they might be get angry or bothered a little bit, you know. But I don't mind, man. Like I like to speak things how they are, and I might be doing them a favor even if they are not getting this tattoo with me or something. I had sometimes, you know, kids like or not kids, you know what I mean? Just people that they are on a mission of getting just started as soon as possible and as fastest and cheapest possible.
Mm.
Meaning they don't care about the quality of the art,
Mm.
want to look at it. So then you see, then I start to ask questions, you know, like why? Like why? What's the purpose? You know, like why you want to get? And that's funny, you know what I mean? That your tattoo artist
Right,
asks you that, you know, like
right,
you
right.
know, it's like why you want to get started, bro? But this is the path, you know, I'm following now. I like to as well. There is more to everything that we do, you
Yeah.
know. Yeah, doing is not the healthiest thing to do in your body. That's why I choose two certain inks, anyways, that doesn't have that much metals inside and anything. They are some of the cleanest ones.
Okay.
But still, I try to connect to people and make them um, see things in a different way that maybe they are not looking at it right now.
Yeah.
Sometimes at that very moment they are bothered, you know, because they know the truth, and saying it doesn't put them in a good position. You know, some of them they don't care. It's like, bro, I just want to look cool, you know. But some other ones is like, you know, it's like, you know, you just wanna and normally these people either they just wanna get crappy designs that I do not do, like things about gangster or you know what I mean.
Hmm.
Nothing to do with the worldly side that they taught us in TV about being in a hard man and like clown faces. You know, this like the Latin gangsters type of tattoos. I get a lot of those.
Okay.
Like before, not anymore. I'm not attracting this type of people anymore in life. So, but yeah,
Wow.
but a
Wow.
lot of people are like that. That they feel like it's just another way of looking, making yourself, you know,
Mhm.
adding to your.
Just adding on to the, you know, and when somebody tells you their reason, like when somebody gives you, you ask the question, like, why do you even want this? You know, why are you trying to get tatted? And they give you their intention. Does that change the dynamic between you when you're doing their ink? Like, does that change how the, you know, like the energy that you put into it once you know that this is what they want for that reason? Does that change how you work with them?
I don't work with them.
Oh, okay. You don't.
No,
Okay. Okay.
that is that is the thing, you know.
Okay.
Most of these situations they don't even come to a face-to-face encounter. You know, they
Okay.
are they. I get a lot of messages, you know, and calls. So I first ask. I select who I want to
Yeah.
tattoo, you know, and ask what you want to get tattooed
Yeah.
first. So I know the mind of the people. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So lately, I'm attracting a lot more of who I am now
Yes.
for some reason. And it's like the arts that you do, they represent you, and the people who is attracted to that imagery will come to you. But before, I had a tattoo studio called
Mm.
Dark Creations, you know, so I was more in the dark side. I
Mhm.
was drawing a lot of skulls and monsters and evil looking stuff. So this is the type of people too that I start to, of course, attract.
Okay.
But as I did the transition, that I just decided to tattoo beautiful
Mhm.
stuff, you
Mhm.
know, and nature and organic things and esoteric and God and goddesses and things like this,
Mhm.
then it still was this, you know, people popping by, and until now it's been cleansing, and now just coming this type of people. But every once in a while, I still have some people saying like, you know, bro, can you do me the devil in my whole back? You
And
know
you're
what I mean?
like, no.
I'm like, I'm like, no, bro. Like
So
I'm not doing that kind of art no more.
that's a really great revelation that you say there, Chris. You know, like what a realization to have with your creations, because like you said, you're putting art, like you're making magic right? Like we're going back to the magic that we're creating. As an artist, you're helping someone manifest their vision on their body, right? Like they've envisioned this to be etched on them forever, you know, and so you're permanently putting this on them, but it's also there's a lot of energy that goes into it. So when you had the dark creations and when you were on the dark side of the soul, you know, the dark side of Cris del Sol, etching these things, how did your life change when you were creating different things, like with your tattoos? Like, what was your life like when it was more dark? And now, what is your life like when you're no longer inking the same? Yeah.
Good question. Good question. Like the things this is like just like what you said, and it goes like a lot more into it.
Okay.
But it goes a lot more into it depending who is doing it and what's your mind.
Right.
Once you're conscious of mind and how you affect everything, every single thing in life is a ritual. You know what I mean? Everything. So people don't know what I work with, you know, when they get tattooed by me, but I am in and out the, them inside them, man. It sounds really bad.
Inside what? Say it again.
But I'm like, I'm all over them and in them and everywhere with my mind, bro. I'm healing them, you know. I'm like, when I'm tattooing people these days, you know,
Uh-huh.
when I put them the cream, when I am talking to them, when I am tattooing them, you know, I have an intention, you know, and I'm sending them. I'm in my fantasy world, bro. Like with sending them love, and I'm practicing too to connect, you know, to other bodies. So sending them energy, you know. I imagine light coming into them. I imagine them they feeling good, that they want to share things, they want to open, they have an amazing experience, and most of the time, this is what I feel that they are feeling too. So it's kind of like working, you know.
Wow.
And too, in the other side, I want to be the cause too that I give them something beautiful that works as an amulet that will strengthen them, you know. So I try to always advise them in some good design that is empowering. You want to look at it and use it, you know, give it a use. So to
Wow.
sometimes when someone asks me some dark stuff and they say, "Why don't you do that no more?" And then I say, like, bro, like, or whoever it is, you know, it's like, it's all about stages in life, you know. And I wanted really, really dark things too. I'm thankful I didn't do them because last thing I want right now in my body is just reminders of darkness. And like I realized that we have enough reminders of darkness just looking around, you know. So the last thing that I want is that my own body reminds me that I don't wanna, or people they wanna, you know, plus some plus print in their bodies, you know, making their bodies a reminder of someone's death
Yeah.
in a with a kind of drawing that is sad, you know. I'm like, why would you want to do that? Why not remembering this person's life,
Mm.
you know, and with a positive image,
Mm.
something beautiful. So yeah, back in the days when I was that dark, I used to eat meat. I used to everything goes back to the meat, you know. I was I was always pretty happy in general, and you know, and funny. But in these times, I started to have like some burnouts. You know, 8 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
when I had my shop in another island in Gran Canaria,
Mm-hmm.
and and, and yeah, there started everything. You know, I was living the life that I thought that I wanted to live. You know, I was earning money. I was dressing all Tommy Hilfiger and going to certain clubs and looking cool and being known as, hey, the tattoo artist, you know, from this place with this shop is the owner of this. And I started to feel like some fake world crawling over me that I didn't want it. I thought I did, but I didn't, you know, and it didn't last long for that reason. As soon as I started to feel that, I was like, this is not for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's when I did that total change. That was, you know, what made me, if you ask why did I went from one side to
Mm-hmm.
another, that was the reason. It's like, and as soon as I change my karma by what I'm eating, everything else fall into place. Everything else. So I just needed a little bit time, and but this, as strange as it sounds, I mean, to me makes a lot of sense, but maybe some people might not understand it.
It makes perfect sense.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
right? So once I cut that out, then I knew what's next, and I knew, wow, I knew what I was doing wrong, and that's why I felt like this, and that's why I craved that, and why did I want that? What's the meaning? Because I gave value to that. Why would I? That is horrible. And then all of this, all of these revelations start to happen.
Right.
And up in the mountains of what I was in the island that I was living, I just closed the shop and I moved in the mountains for half a year, and then I started alone by myself with everything like the fasting, meditation, breath work, and since that day, then was not looking back. So
Wow. Wow. It's amazing, man. It's amazing. Like listening to your story, bro, because even Elitom would tell us like he started out, really on this journey in earnest. Like he started in Akron, Ohio, but then he did go to the Canary Islands and he was living in a cave and doing Qigong by himself, and just like in the Canary Islands, like that was really when things started to kick off, you know?
it's a legendary
Yeah.
god, this Elito man. I love to meet him sometime. He's
Oh,
funny too. I like him.
yeah. Yeah, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Y'all will meet. But yeah, man. Thank you just for your testimony. Thank you for this timeless wisdom. The parallels that you draw, the comparisons. I love how you illustrate them in ways that are easy to understand. And just it makes it make sense because you're like with no intention. Like, why would you put something to remind you of darkness when we have enough reminders of darkness around us? You're like, I don't want a reminder of darkness with me every time I look in the mirror. I see another reminder of darkness. So it makes perfect sense what you say.
And if you
Yeah.
and if you know like what we was speaking, like how you build yourself, you realize that you will be building more darkness,
Right.
and all you want to see is what you want to be.
Right.
So doesn't make sense, or you can look at it and still change the meaning of it,
Right.
you know
Right.
like have some tattoos, like maybe this one
Mm-hmm.
doesn't, like this girl with a spider coming out of its mouth, and yeah, it's not that horrible, that looks evil, but it's not doesn't look like the holiest neither, but to me I changed the meaning of it.
Yes.
I already see it in a light way, in a positive way. So
Yeah.
perception, after all, is powerful. It's a powerful thing. The key is the
Yeah.
key.
Yeah, you're an alchemist. You alchemize, you can change, you can
we,
rearrange, you can reframe, you can reclaim, you know?
we
Yeah,
are we are definitely.
alchemist, man. That's true alchemy. So, man, brother, thank you just for coming on today. Like, if someone's wanting to get in touch with you, Cris, and they heard your story today for the first time, they never heard you before, but they really resonate with, that powerful testimony you gave, and they want to get in touch with you, do you have like a website or any offerings or any services, or what would you like people to get in touch with you the most?
All right, that's a good one too. I didn't think about that one. Nah, of course I did, man. The thing is like, if you mean of tattooing, or you mean I obviously,
Just,
and
in general, yeah.
what do I want or what the people wants, because that's two different.
Right.
You can see my only places that you can get in touch with me. Normally I use Instagram, so
Mhm.
like right now, the one you're seeing, that's my personal one, the one I'm starting to develop a little bit more.
Okay.
And the other one, if you see a link there, in my bio, that's my tattoos. There's my tattoo site.
Okay.
So, but yeah, depending on what you like. In one side, we are teaching this just like you, sharing our journey and our experiences. Like whatever I absorb from you is valuable to me. You know what I mean? Like what I absorb from Nabiha or from Elitom or from
Mhm.
whoever we are following, like this little community, man. It gives me power. It gives me, I resonate with a lot of things. Then you see too, we are experiencing this thing together, you know?
Right.
So it's like passing the message, you know, same thing. So that's what I'm about in this personal side. And in the other side, it's just tattoos
Okay.
and some art.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome, man. We're passing the flame, you know, passing the torch.
Yeah.
We're keeping it
Yeah.
lit, you know, keeping the flame lit. Yeah. Yes, yes. So, all right, brother. Well, just, you know, have an amazing rest of your day, bro, and just enjoy, you know, the rest of your time. And man, thank you just for coming on again. Really appreciate your time, brother.
Yours too, brother. We'll do
Yes.
another one sometime soon.
Awesome. Awesome. All right.
Much love.
Much love. Take care. Bless.